The eye. The eye is the sense organ that allows one to see. It has receptors that receive light as a stimulus from our surroundings. Light enters the cornea of the eye. Behind the cornea is a ring of muscle, the iris, which expands or contracts in response to light. The pupil changes its size to control the amount of light that enters the eye.
Lens, where the light passes through, focus or defocuses the subject. Retina. The muscle of the lens change in shape and direct light into the retina. Rods detect the presence and absence of the light. Cones detect of colors of the object you see. Optic nerve. It's connect to the brain.
The ear. The ear makes us identify sounds around us. It is the body organ that makes us hear. We hear because of the outer ear collects sound waves that travel in the air to the ear canal. The eardrum vibrates and moves the three small bones of the middle ear. From there, the sound receptors in the fluid-filled cochlea produce vibration as the sound waves travel into the inner ear. The nerve transmits the stimulus to the brain and is interpreted, then we can distinguish what we hear. The ear also helps us maintain balance.
The nose. The nose makes us smell. There are receptors in the nose that are stimulated by perfumes, coffee brew, decaying trash, burning peppers, or chicken stew. How does odor reach your nose? Or smell produced by perfume, for example, diffuses or moves in the air and once it reaches the two opening of the nose of nostrils. It stimulates the smell receptors along the nasal cavity. Stimulus is carried by the brain by the olfactory nerve and interpreted. The tongue. Taste is usually associated with smell. When you have stuffy nose, you say that the food is of bad taste. The taste receptors can detect chemicals in substances just like the smell receptors. The receptors are located in the taste buds of the tongue. There are four primary types of taste: sweet, bitter, sour, and salty. Some of combination of several primary tastes. How can we taste food? Food must first be dissolved by our saliva when we eat. This will be detected by the taste receptors and interpreted by our brain. Then we can distinguish one taste from another. The skin. The skin is all over the human body. It protects the inner part from exposure to harmful substances and even germs. The skin enables us to detect sensation, temperature, pressure, and pain. There are receptors in the skin that detect stimuli. For example, when you are wanted, you feel pain because the pain receptors react to the injury, and feeling the pain will tell us that something has to be done with the want. Hot and cold air or water can be detected by temperature receptors.
The human brain. The brain is located in the head of our body. The head is covered by hair and the brain is protected by the skull. The brain is the control center of the vital activities for survival, including responses to stimuli, emotions, learning abilities, and talents. The brain is divided into three parts: the cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem. The cerebrum is the largest part and has the brain centers that control thought processes, speech, motor, touch, pressure, smell, hearing, vision, and facial recognition. Generally, the right half of the cerebrum controls the left side of the body, while the left side of the cerebrum controls the right side of the body. The second largest part of the brain, the cerebellum, controls muscle coordination, balance, and normal body posture. When mountain climbing, the cerebellum receives signals that are transmitted to the cerebrum and direct movements of the arms, hands, legs, and other parts of the body. The brainstem connects the brain to the spinal cord. It has several parts: the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. The midbrain contains release stations of neurons and reflex centers for involuntary actions. The hypothalamus in the midbrain maintains internal balance such as water and blood pressure. The pons connects the two halves and the cerebellum and links the cerebral cortex to the medulla. Functions like heartbeat, breathing, and sneezing are regulated by the medulla. We can keep our brain healthy by eating balanced diet and avoiding concussions from fall or blow in the head. A blood clot or narrowing of blood vessels may result in stroke. Brain parts may be damaged, resulting in Alzheimer's disease with symptoms like losing memory.
The heart. The heart is located at the center of the chest below the bone called sternum. Four chambers: ventricles, lower chambers; atria, upper chambers; septum, dividing the two sides left and right; valve, separates the chamber so that there will be no backflow of the blood. Lungs. The lungs are organs involved in breathing which fill most of the chest cavity. Bronchus. Connect to the trachea or windpipe, branches into each lobe of the lung inside bronchioles. Alveoli. Numerous tiny air sacs. Capillaries. Tiny blood vessels, actual exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The lungs may be affected by severe smoking and germs such as those that cause tuberculosis and pneumonia, among others. We can take care of our lungs by limiting exposure to pollutants in the air by using face masks, avoiding the area where there is smoking, and exercising regularly to allow the lungs to work efficiently.
The liver, stomach, and small intestine. The liver, stomach, and small intestine are important body organs in making food that we eat available to the different parts of the body. These organs are found in our abdominal cavity. The liver is a low, large internal body organ. Its principal function is to produce bile that is important in breaking fats into droplets. Bile is not an enzyme. From the liver, the bile is stored in the gallbladder before it is released in the small intestine. The stomach is an enlarged muscular sac with thick walls that can expand when full or contract when almost empty. Food chewed in the mouth moves through the esophagus and reaches the stomach through constriction. When chewed food enters the stomach, a valve closes to stop the backward flow of food.
The kidneys. We have a pair of kidneys located at the back of the body cavity above the hip bones. The kidneys look like a pair of bean seeds on each side of the body. Each kidney has millions of nephrons, with highly coiled tubes and capillaries that filters the blood and forms urine. Kidneys not only excrete substances in oversupply but also regulate the presence of substances in the blood. Some disorders of kidneys are formed stones or crystals of minerals that block the movement of urine. Surgical removal of kidney stones may be needed to allow the kidneys to function well. Kidney failure results from unfiltered blood which may require dialysis. Bacterial infection may result swelling of the nephrons, a condition known as nephritis.
Bones and muscles. Bones are part of our skeleton. The major bones are the skull, bone of the head and face, the backbone or the spinal column, the 12 pairs of the ribs, the hip bone and bones in our arms and legs. Muscles are either attached to the bones, skeletal muscles, found in wall of many internal organs, smooth, and muscles that mix